Howdy. You got your eye on that candy, haven't you?
Yes.
What kind you want here? We got all kinds.
Strawberry.
Oh, strawberry. Well, strawberries are good, aren't they?
Yes.
The Jefferson County Historical Society has embraced the past and offers guests a unique glimpse into our local heritage.
The buildings here bring history alive. Each building has a story to tell.
We have managed to preserve samples of what used to be an ordinary little town.
A representation of a small village in about the turn of the 19th century.
It's the grounds that are the most impressive. It's a peaceful, shady, quiet country setting.
You can just sit down and almost envision yourself in the 1800s.
I guess one of my favorite things would be this school, the Old Hickory School. It reminds me of the stories that my mom and my grandparents had told us about the schools they went to.
People really enjoy seeing the blacksmiths at work. That's not something that you see very often, and when they demonstrate, that often attracts people. And of course the general store is just loaded with all sorts of items, and even the doctors, the medical building has instruments that from long ago that are interesting and somewhat horrifying when you think that they were used on human beings.
I'm particularly fascinated by their calaboose. It's like that would deter me from ever committing a crime.
Other points of interest at the historical village include the wonderfully preserved log cabins.
The 2 log cabins we have down here they come out of the county and people actually lived in them at one time, and they're quite unique.
You'll find things in these cabins of different time periods, 1880s, 1890s cabin, because they would have had things left over from their grandparents, plus what would have been considered modern things for the time period.
And the Jeffersonian, a working print shop.
We want to help them to see how much effort was put into putting out a newspaper, which we accept as, a 20-page paper was nothing. Then a 4-page paper was something.
In addition to the many historic buildings located in the village, we invite you to visit the Schweinfurth Museum. This spacious museum features a wide variety of interesting exhibits and unique items.
This is what they call a Dyna Voice piano player, and it takes a piano roll like this, like they used to play on the old player pianos.
We have items in our museum building that go throughout time up to the present.
We now have the one on Proudly They Served, which goes back to the men and women who served in the wars here in our country.
Updates and new exhibits are added regularly, so guests of the museum will see new items each time they visit. Guests of all ages enjoy the historical village.
I think the historical village is a wonderful opportunity to step back in time, to see what life would have been like.
I think it's really educational.
I love it. I'm a history buff, so this place is fascinating.
You can see how their houses were then, what kind of furniture they had.
I like the old-fashioned cabins because they seem really realistic.
I think this shows the heritage of everybody in this area.
To celebrate our past, the Jefferson County Historical Society presents Heritage Festival each October. It's a weekend filled with food, demonstrations, and great music.
If heaven were to hear our confession.
So you get things like spinning and candle making and woodworking, wood carving, blacksmithing. Kids really enjoy the historical village. They enjoy the educational part of it, as well as running around out in the outdoors and from cabin to cabin.
I like the jail. We wanted to go inside it. Yeah.
This event allows guests to see how the pioneers lived and worked. Guests also have the opportunity to go on the Old Union Cemetery walk.
We have some early burials, and some of the important famous people from Jefferson County are buried there.
The Historical Village is more than just a place to see historic buildings. It's a place to learn about our heritage and so much more.
The young man was in the 4th grade, and obviously he was a sharp kid. He was going around listening to what we were saying and looking at things and examining things. And when they got ready to leave, he looked at his teacher and he said, "Aren't we fortunate that we have electricity?"
We envy the folks here because this is something we miss.
Well, that's true.
You can't duplicate it in a city like Houston.
You get to walk in and actually be a part of the museum.
Yes.
You can participate. You can be the past.
You have to see it to enjoy it. Then once you get here, we think you'll like it.
There's something about seeing it and in addition to reading it.
We'd like for everybody to come and be a part of our history and just enjoy this wonderfully quaint little village.
For more information about the Jefferson County Historical Village, please visit our website or call 618-246-0033.